Good morning everyone. Today we're going to take a look at a non-contact alcohol dispenser. It works with a foot pedal. Basically, someone walks up to it, pushes down on the foot pedal, and it dispenses alcohol that they can use to sanitize or disinfect their hands. Now, I know what you're thinking. After you've demonstrated it, what more is there to say? Well, bear with me. Let me tell you the story behind this. So what I noticed is a lot of businesses would get a bottle of alcohol or hand sanitizer and leave it on a table outside their shop. The problem is a lot of people look at this and then they don't want to touch it, because how many other people have touched it? Even if you're going to sanitize, disinfect your hands, something doesn't feel right about squeezing down on a bottle that, hundreds or thousands of people have used. So I started thinking there must be an alternative option. So the first thing that came to mind is the automatic ones, the ones where you wave your hand under it and it dispenses soap or hand sanitizer. And I actually had one of those before. And the problem is, if the sunlight was hitting the sensor, sometimes it just wouldn't trigger no matter how many times you wave your hand. And then on the flip side, sometimes it would just trigger by itself and it would just waste soap or alcohol. And I thought, okay, we need something simpler, something that's manual. So I started looking around at foot pedal operated alcohol dispensers. And the first ones I saw were made out of PVC, DIY, homemade. And I thought that is absolutely genius. They're cheap, they're easy to make, they're just pipes sliding inside other pipes. But then I realized it's probably not going to be strong enough in most situations. Plus, instead of having a foot pedal, you have to kind of lift your foot and push down on something. And that is a very different movement compared to just pushing down with your foot on a pedal. So, very clever, very cool, but not really suitable for what I had in mind. I'm thinking of places like bus terminals and other locations where there's really so many people. So anyway, I found designs like this, but then a lot of them, they were using very thin metal, and I thought, one, it's going to get tipped over, or two, it's just going to get broken. So I was looking for something that had good reviews and was nice and strong. And this is the strongest one that I could find, at least looking at pictures and reading feedback from customers. So I reached out to the company and said, can I borrow one for a review? They said, sure, we'll give you one. And then I clarified, can I give it away, or do you want it back? They said it's fine, you can give it away. So you may have noticed around me is a bunch of big vehicles. These all belong to MMDA, and I'm turning this over to MMDA today. That's also why it's so noisy, because this is one of their bases on a busy road. And let me tell you one of the great things about this. This is something that I really love. This is locally made. So they didn't import it, it's not from another country, this is locally made. And when I say local, I really mean local. This is made right here in Quezon City. So for me, that's a big selling point. Support local, it's being built local. But I know what you're thinking, well, how much does it cost? It's not cheap. 5,999 or around 6,000 pesos. And there are cheaper options. The PVC one, you can buy for like 2,000, maybe 1,800. You can buy something similar to this, but with much thinner metal, for around 3,000. So there are cheaper options, but the reason why I like this one is because it seems so strong. This is galvanized steel, and then they finished it with a powder coated paint, so it should last pretty long. One of the things they said is you can actually bolt this down to the ground. So if you're worried about people running into this and knocking it down, you can actually bolt this into the ground and you have some help against that. I'll show you the foot pedal. And there you go, as I was actually making a review, one of the enforcers walked over, he wants to try it out. So, I mean, this is theirs, I'm already turning it over. I just wanted to shoot a review first. Let's start by breaking it down to its components. We'll remove the alcohol. Now, this is just a regular bottle of sanitizing gel. It doesn't have to be this one. This is just the one that they included. So you can see a slide in here because these bottles are designed to go into holders, and then it locks in place. And then it has a cover that comes down. This lever here is the one that's actually pushing down. So here's your foot pedal. When you push on that, there's a wire on the inside that pulls down on this. You can see a spring here so that it will reset, and then that brings down this lever here, which will allow alcohol to come out. From a few feet away, the paint looks perfect. But if you get up close, you might notice some minor imperfections where this has been painted. But from 3 feet away, 6 feet away, it looks absolutely fine. So I'm not going to say it's absolutely perfect that you could put this in a palace, but in a bus terminal or somewhere like that, I think this would be very, very useful. As far as I can tell, the only kind of maintenance you'd need is to make sure that this screw is kept tight, because if the wire pulls through, you won't have your pressure on this anymore, and you'd have to feed the wire back up. But other than that, I can't think of any maintenance you'd have to do with this. There's no batteries that you have to replace. You don't have to run around wires that people are going to trip over. It's hands-free, it doesn't require any electricity, and it just works. That's why I like it, because it just works.